Okay, here we are again for another episode of Fern Between Us. This is episode 6. I'm Jesse.
I'm Michelle.
And we're two of the 4 owners of Vivoc Winery. Today we are tasting
Divino and Diablo. Woohoo! Some of the wine club members' favorites. We have a lot of people that collect them because they are released as a pair every vintage. A quick update on what's happening on today's show. We were supposed to have my sister, the fabulously talented Marie Fleur from Marie Fleur Salon, in to Zoom with us and answer some questions about your stay-at-home beauty tips, how we can try to look good enough to do a video or Zoom call. But unfortunately, she had something come up and she can't join us. So we do have answers to a lot of the questions that were written in from a makeup artist actually out in LA. So it's gonna be super fun. Let's start off with the tasting, huh?
Let's start off with the tasting.
I really need a drink too, because here's the thing, is that I keep trying to make this better, and I just had a complete meltdown over the new camera that I got so that this could be so much better, and it wasn't working. So after my temper tantrum, I need wine.
So we're drinking Divino first. Divino is traditionally there we go. Production value. It's traditionally a blend of Italian varietals. Sometimes there's something from another country in there as well, but it's kind of our medium-bodied wine. Nebbiolo and Refosco usually make up the backbone. What is this one? This one is 55% Sangiovese, 30% Nebbiolo, 10% Cab, and 5% Syrah on this year's vintage, which is the 2016.
We have cheat sheet notes.
We do this every year. I'm blending one for this year. I have bottled one for next year, that we're about to release, and then this was like how many? It's impossible. But anyway, this is really good for anybody who loves Pinot Noirs or Nebbiolos, Barolos, any of that kind of.
A little bit lighter body, super food friendly.
Super complex. It's one of my favorite wines that we make. I say that every week, I'm sorry.
We love all our wines. A little pat on the back. Let's also introduce the label artist.
Oh yeah. This is, so every year we change who does the art on the label, so it's not our traditional label. This year was Joan and Ken McDonald. Ken has been passed away, but this is some of his designs, and Joan has made a line of pot holders, and these are 2 of the pot holders using his original artwork.
One of them is hers.
Oh, one of them is hers and one of them's his.
Yeah.
And
so it's a his-her kind of fun collaborative
super
effort.
Cool, super eccentric people, super eccentric art. It's we love it, and we try to change it up. Different mediums, different this and that. So
we have been so lucky. We have worked with some absolutely incredible artists, and you can check those out on our website under the featured artists and hear what their stories are and see the labels that they did for us too. We let them choose what heaven and hell looks like. That's the idea behind this coupling. So Divino, heaven; Diablo, hell. But we're actually really excited. We're going to have a little departure from that. So if you have been one of the ones that are collecting these wines and saving the labels, you're really going to want to make sure that you're up to date and have these before they're sold out, because this is the last vintage that we're going to feature an artist on. But we're super excited about the new labels. They are absolutely gorgeous. It is going to be a graphic design base, but they're really, really pretty. So I can't wait for you guys to see those.
Look for those probably sometime this summer.
Okay, so now Diablo.
Now we have the Diablo. Diablo is traditionally more of a Bordeaux blend, but we often throw some Tempranillo or some Syrah in there. This year, it's mostly Syrah, 60% Syrah, 30% Cab, and 10% Tempranillo.
This has so much umami.
I know. So it tends to be a fuller bodied wine. Lots of oak. You know, we try to have these be some of our oldest wines that we have on the list available for sale. But anyway, this is always a great wine. It's also our priciest wine. What else would you say about it?
It's also one of the, not only is it bigger in body, but also it's very, very smooth. So a lot of the Vivac wines are really prized around natural acidity, which makes them excellent food pairing wines and incredible age-worthy wines as well. But with this wine, it has an added little oomph in that it's very, very smooth. And I think it works for a lot of people that love those big California wines. It's nowhere near as jammy, but it fits that kind of pocket for them. And so I really like it for that too. Should we jump into some fun?
Let's salon.
Salon it. God.
That's spa day. What do we call this?
I don't know.
So yesterday, I don't know. You guys could still catch it if you want.
It's on YouTube.
I gave Michelle a trim. Since we're not supposed to be leaving the house, I gave her a trim, cut the bangs. It's a really highly scary thing for me. But we did get the thumbs up from my sister-in-law, which is cool. And you seem to like it so far. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's scary though.
Yeah, you'll have to check out the YouTube video of it. Good times, you know, and drinking wine and then decide, yeah, babe, cut my hair.
Never a good idea.
Anyway, so now we are going to answer some of the questions that you guys had written in. Erin Fine is the makeup artist out in LA that I've been lucky enough to be in connection with. My college best friend, Jules. Hi, Jules. She was amazing and sent me a gift package a couple years ago when I was having some health issues and my skin was a hot mess. One of the symptoms, which, I mean, it was like things couldn't get worse, was my skin just broke out. It was awful. And she sent me a care package of Erin's products. It's called Fizz, Phiz. So you can't really see that, but so
Fizz. There we go.
So you can order her products at fizzshop.com, and she gave us some really good feedback actually. So one of the questions was that a lot of people, teachers, or you're just staying at home working, are now taking Zoom calls and Google Classroom and all of that. And you look really washed out, and so all of a sudden you're starting to wear more makeup than maybe you usually do, which then causes more breakouts. So how do you handle that? And her recommendation was not only should you use a gentle cleanser, which I love hers, by the way, but don't use regular soap. That just aggravates your skin. And then wash your face twice a day. And the big trick, she said, is using a toner. So I love her toner. So she does have one.
What should I do? I mean, should I wash my face?
That seems like a good idea on occasion.
I've never washed my face once, maybe.
What?
With soap?
You don't ever put like a cleanser on your face?
No, it dries it out.
Well, that's what lotion's for.
Then your eyes sting.
Well, don't put it in your eyes. All right, so yeah. So if you aren't washing your face, you should maybe try washing your face. So anyway, she says that the toner is key because that actually really makes sure that you get all of the makeup off. If you don't have toner, she said a hack is to splash really cold water on your face, which I thought was a cool tip. I did not know that. It shrinks your pores. Good for you. And another tip that she said, if you don't have any good products at your disposal, is to treat blemishes with a little hydrogen peroxide. So that's cool. I did not know that hack. Love that.
Nice.
And then another question that was asked was, how do you make yourself camera ready really fast if you get a text, hey, I want to see you in 5 minutes for either a work meeting, or maybe it's just Zoom happy hour with your friends and you forgot? Not that that's ever happened. But then what do? You've got 5 minutes to try to look cute, right? So one of her things is to grab a button down, which I happen to actually put on today, which was not planned. But
and then you forego the pants because that takes too much time, right?
Well, yeah. Who wears pants anymore?
Right.
Well, I guess we both put on pants.
For you guys, we did.
We got all fancy.
For most of our Zoom people, we do not put on pants.
Jesse did a Zoom meeting with some of our best friends in my bikini top. So, you never know what you're going to get with us. Anyway, so she said, throw on a button down. Make sure to have one ready to go. That always looks really professional. She said if you have long hair, that you should pull it forward and wear your hair down, which I thought was interesting because when I had long hair, my go-to was to throw it up in a ponytail or something, and she said you actually look better pulling it forward. And if you can have some dry shampoo on hand, that's the best way to freshen short haircuts.
I don't know about dry shampoo.
It's dry.
It's all coming clear now.
And let's see, can we use boxed hair dye, right? The stuff that you see at the grocery store or Walmart, whatever. There's aisles and aisles of it, but our salon hairdressers are like, don't ever use that. So it's a little confusing. Who's buying this box hair dye and why can't we?
Maybe most people.
Well, and maybe that's why they don't look better, God.
Oh my God, that's horrible. It's not how you feel, it's how you look, and you look marvelous.
So she gave me a little bit of the lowdown on that. She said,
I'm out of wine.
You're always out of wine. Why do you drink so fast?
I got thirsty.
Calm down.
It was tasty.
So she actually, she said that one of the biggest problems is doing the color match. It's really hard to tell from the box, even if they have a little fake hair sample there, you're really not getting that color match. And that's part of the problem. And that's why it looks so fake when you put it on your head, is it's not matching your natural color. It grows out funny. So that's an interesting thing. She said, if it's just that your hair's growing out, which mine really, I'm like, oh, it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I can cut, but I can't color.
But she said that if you really feel like you need to, then L'Oreal is the brand that she actually recommends. But she really recommends a hat. She actually said, just don't. Just get a hat. Which I love. That was her tip.
We've got hats at the winery.
We have really cute hats, yeah. Which I was afraid I was going to be living in if this haircut didn't turn out. Which I think it did turn out. I think it's cute.
I think so too.
Not too much hat wearing. All right, so
why
now,
is box dye so bad?
I just covered that.
Oh, okay.
Because it
okay.
It's hard to color match.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spaced out there for a second. Hi guys, I'm back.
Wow. And that's where you get that, like, the wife is talking and all I hear is wah, wah, wah. Lovely. Mm-hmm. You know, I saw a thing that was like, I want all my friends to know that if I die during quarantine with my wife, it's not due to COVID. I think it's true. I'm going to blame COVID, though.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, anything else that you want to talk about with these wines? Or no. He loves it when I put him on the spot.
Like, huh? What are you looking for exactly, honey?
I don't know, maybe some pairings?
Ooh, you're the pairing person, though. I'll ask you, what would you pair with these wines, babe?
I can't do it all. Oh.
We're going to have some elk steaks tonight. I think that Diavolo would be fabulous. You know? Kind of with a little bit of au jus sauce and over some mashed potatoes.
Is that how you do it? A little bit of some of the, and then it's awesome.
Some sauteed, some caramelized onions, you know. It's going to be awesome. It is going to be awesome. We're going to do it.
Oh my gosh. Did you prepare any trivia or advice?
I think I had something, but I don't remember what it was. Trivia, nobody knows because you're not in some finance class at CU Boulder right now, almost for sure. But I got to be a guest lecturer for a friend of mine that's teaching a class up there, and so a bunch of us that had done construction projects or were actually in the real estate and mortgage industry or whatever. I just, you know, Chris and I have built the 5 buildings for Vivac Winery from the ground up, and so I was invited to be part of this, and it was a lot of fun. We got to talk to some students and you know, give them our take on like what real world is like.
And Jesse drank through it, so
oh yeah,
you know.
They loved it, and I did wear pants that time too.
Hey,
so you know,
you're a regular pants wearing kind of guy.
Indeed. I think Jerry Seinfeld would be happy with me.
One of the things I was going to say about the Divino is because it's a little bit lighter in body, it pairs super well with some of your lighter meats, like the dark meat. That's funny. Lighter meats, and then I say dark meat. The dark meat of turkey, duck, things like that. So I always love to pair it with that. It also does a beautiful job with sweet potatoes, as long as you don't have marshmallows in them.
Right.
Marshmallows aren't a good wine pairing choice.
Almost never. Almost never. Did you have any interesting trivia?
I actually thought I might talk about stereoisomers.
Oh, okay.
Big fancy word, but what it is during the fermentation process, the wine is changing the wine. The process is a conversion of sugar into alcohol. During that process, it creates these stereoisomers, which are chemical compounds that mimic or are identical to, I should say, other things in our environment. So a single wine can end up at the finished product of up to 10,000 different stereoisomers. I mean, that's just amazing. Which
makes it the most complex food on the face of the planet.
I mean, how cool is that?
Right.
And no other, you can make wine out of just about anything, but nothing does that except for wine grapes. So I think that's so fascinating.
Right.
You can make wine out of cherries. It's going to taste like cherries. It's going to smell like cherries. It's cherries.
And it's not that complex. It's got, you know, maybe 200 stereoisomers or less in the finished product. It's not, fruit wines don't do it. Beer can come closer, you know, in the realm of, I can't remember what I've heard, but it's in the realm of 1,000 maybe.
But I mean,
can be.
So you're looking at those things where when a sommelier says, "Oh yes, I smell, you know, lavender and blueberry and hints of sage." None of those things are added to the wine, and that's something that a lot of people are confused by. They think that these are botanicals that have been added to the drink, and that's not at all what is happening.
Supposedly, traditionally, just if you've added something else, it's called a flavored wine, and that's different. So you know, whatever that might mean, you know, you know, not saying anything against those styles or whatever, but most wines that you're buying in the store is going to be basically just grapes with yeast added, and then they ferment, and you get and then you got flavor from oak aging. You got flavor from malolactic fermentation, which isn't the fermentation. You've got, but all these things kind of add nuances and make it a little more complex and a little more complex every time you do something like that.
And one of the things to keep in mind is that somebody that's trained can pick up about 250. So don't feel bad if somebody smells something and you don't smell it, right? Because your experiences are actually informing your ability to smell things. So somebody that grew up with a grandma that had blueberries in her backyard, and you know that kind of fresh blueberry is a completely different experience than somebody that only has...
Somebody like me that had a grandma that had mothballs in her closet.
Well, I hope you aren't smelling mothballs in any wines, but no, I meant, like fresh garden versus like I have blueberries in our freezer that I add to smoothies, but boy, is that a different experience, right? So that is going to be very different if somebody says, oh, wow, I smell blueberries. Well, is it your grandma's backyard blueberries, or is it the blueberry out of the freezer, or is it a pie, blueberry pie? What is it? So that's kind of a fun little trivia piece. So play around with that. And I love to, every time I give a class or a lecture, I encourage people to set a empty glass next to their stove, and as they're cooking, whatever they're adding to the recipe, put it in the glass and smell it, because believe it or not, it smells completely different in here than it does in the palm of your hand or when you're cooking. So you're about to add oregano, put oregano in the glass, smell it, calculate what is it that I'm smelling, and you're going to start having a library in the back of your mind, so that then when you are smelling wines, you start to be able to pick those things up. So it can be, fruit, herbs, whatever it is, put it in the glass.
That was just a tip, but it was a pretty big tip. Is that the kind of tips you like, baby?
Oh my God! I am so sorry. I don't know. I can't take him anywhere. That's going to be the end of the show today. Clearly, he slugged back too much wine, and now we have to put him to bed. Last thing, we are still open daily, 1 to 5 for pickup orders. We're shipping out every day. Thank you so much for supporting us, and cheers. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.
No more out of you.
No. I was going to tell him the wines for next week. Tempranillo and Amante.
Amante is her port.
It's a port style wine, yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers, you guys. Have a good one.
Oh, are you doing it?
No, you do it.
Oh, what?
Somewhere over here.
It's the finish. See
Where
the button
does it
right